Prime Minister to unveil affordable housing project next month. Malaysia BRICS partner status will not affect other international roles. Hello, good evening and salam Malaysia Madani. Thanks for joining us. I'm Otto Othman and you're watching Malaysia Tonight. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim is set to unveil an affordable housing project next month, backed by a 13 billion ringgit investment. Housing and Local Government Minister Ngah Ko Ming described the investment as the largest in the nation's history for such a project, reinforcing the unity government's dedication to ensuring home ownership for all citizens, including civil servants.
Ini adalah satu jumlah yang sangat besar dan ini menunjukkan komitmen kerajaan. Dan apabila projek ini diumumkan, sudah tentunya penjawat awam tidak akan ketinggalan. Akan diberikan peluang dan ruang kepada mereka yang memerlukan rumah. Selaras dengan slogan kita, rumahku, syurgaku.
Met by reporters today, he said the details on the project will be disclosed by Datuk Seri Anwar. Yesterday, the media reported that 688,663 out of 1.3 million civil servants still do not own homes, with the majority being from the implementation group. Malaysia's status as a country partner in BRICS will not affect its role in other international cooperations. Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Hassan said the position did not water down its role in the Organisation of Islamic Cooperation, OIC, Non-Aligned Movement, or the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, APEC.
Alhamdulillah, walaupun tidak secara resmi diwar-warkan, tetapi kita telah menerima surat yang berhormat Tan Sri Speaker, Malaysia telah diterima sebagai rakan negara ataupun country partner kerana belum lagi dibuka untuk anggota baru. Alasannya ataupun asas kepada dibuat suatu platform baru iaitu rakan negara ataupun country partner dan tidak sebagai anggota penuh kerana anggota BRICS ni nak menghadamkan dulu keberadaan 4 negara baru.
Speaking to the Dewan Rakyat today, Datuk Seri Muhammad added that being a country partner in BRICS also expanded the national economy. The foreign minister said Malaysia had not yet been accepted as a full BRICS member, but once it is, the matter will be brought to Parliament. Established in 2009, the economic bloc now contributes to a quarter of the global economy, accounts for 1/5 of global trade, and represents about 40% of the world's population. The Ministry of Health, MOH, will hold a meeting with nurses' unions tomorrow to gather input and address concerns regarding the increase in working hours for the profession from 42 hours to 45 hours per week, effective November 1st. Now, Health Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said the meeting would involve 5 nurses' unions that have expressed readiness to discuss and share their views on implementing the new directive under the Public Service Remuneration System, SSPA. The unions involved are the Malayan Nurses Union, the Union of Midwives and Community Nurses of Government Services of Peninsular Malaysia, the Sabah Health Services Union, the Sarawak Health Services Union, and the Ministry of Health Workers Union.
Kami mahu pastikan yang apapun dari sudut arahan dan sebagainya ini akan kita lakukan setelah kita benar-benar dapat memastikan kepentingan, kebajikan, kemaslahatan workforce ataupun khasnya jururawat kami itu dapat kita bela dan kita jamin dan untuk sampai ke situ saya kira kita perlu mengadakan beberapa libat urus ini dan ini akan kita lakukan dalam waktu sesegera.
Met today, he was commenting on concerns raised by unions and other parties about the workload and impact on nurses due to the new SSPA directive. Previously, the Malaysian Trades Union Congress MTUC had urged the MOH to hold comprehensive dialogues with professional bodies such as the Malayan Nurses Union, as the lack of such engagement undermines the collaborative approach necessary for developing fair and practical policies. The study into possible options for a direct disaster notification channel in its final phase. Now, according to Communications Minister Fahmi Fadil, the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC) had already identified and was concluding its study into a number of alternatives to the current use of short messaging service SMS for disaster warning.
Saya telah minta pihak MCMC sedang dalam fasa akhir untuk meneliti beberapa option dan akan ada koordinasi dengan pihak NADMA terutamanya. Kalau ada, dia akan jadi satu alat komunikasi tambahan dan boleh membantu terutama kerana dia ada satu elemen iaitu geolocation yang mana boleh dihantar kepada sekumpulan orang yang ada di satu lokasi dan sekiranya ada maklumat tentang PPS juga boleh dihantar kepada mereka.
He said this after moderating a forum at Malaysian Ideas Conference, My Ideas, in Putrajaya today. Previously, on 23rd November, Fahmi announced that MCMC had been assigned the task of exploring a direct disaster notification channel. He explained that the disaster notification system would operate as a mobile phone alert, comparable to those used in South Korea and Japan. These systems would see mobile phones automatically receive an immediate alert notification pop-up on their screen instead of an SMS whenever a disaster occurs. Coming up in our business segment, Malaysia aims to reaffirm role as leader in Islamic financing within ASEAN.
The number of malicious and false statements spread by SMS or social media platforms have become too widespread. The public is advised to be careful and not fall for such ploys and sharing or forwarding such messages. Remember that spreading fake news is an offence under Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998. This carries the penalty of a fine not exceeding 50,000 ringgit or up to 1 year imprisonment or both upon conviction.
Malaysia is actively participating in the 28th World Investment Conference taking place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, a pivotal event that gathers over 4,000 delegates from various countries to discuss pressing global investment issues. As voices of concern surrounding the global economy and the future of globalization arise, Malaysia aims to reaffirm its role as a leader in Islamic financing within the ASEAN region and beyond. Speaking from Riyadh, Chairman of Malaysia International Islamic Finance Centre Leadership Council, Tan Sri Azman Mokhtar, emphasised the importance of Malaysia's presence at this significant gathering.
So I think we have a very comprehensive ecosystem. We have a vibrant domestic economy that is growing at more than 5% per annum, which is a very good number, by the way. Thirdly is that Malaysia is open for business. As you have observed, the investment numbers are strong, are up, in fact record high in some areas. And openness, even in a world that is closing up in some places, to be able to do business with practically all parts of the world.
The discussion also aims to highlight the nation's role in halal and green economy sectors.
I think among the growth sectors within Malaysia and indeed within the region is, among other things, the greening of the economy, as we know, the energy transition. And energy transition are typically long-term, large projects involving infrastructure. Many of these things will need funding. And as I said, our strong domestic system is already strong in Islamic finance, and in fact is going into the majority of funding already, and this will fuel that.
As the World Investment Conference progresses, Malaysia is tailored to emerge not only as a participant, but as a leader in promoting sustainable investment opportunities that align with global trends and regional growth. 5 local and international financial institutions, as well as logistics industry players, have expressed interest in investing in SFZ Forest City. Johor Menteri Besar Dato' On Hafiz Ghazi said these include Malayan Banking Berhad, Public Bank Berhad, United Overseas Bank, Credit Lyonnais Securities Asia, and Tiong-Nam Logistics Holdings Berhad. In addition, 11 other companies of various sectors also have shown intention to invest in SFZ, including one from Indonesia and another from Taiwan.
Untuk logistics pintar, smart logistics, Tiong-Nam Logistics Holdings Berhad telah menyatakan minat mereka. Jadi, Yang Berhormat Speaker, seperti apa yang saya bentangkan itu, kita lihat ada minat yang besar.
Forest City's Special Financial Zone, SFZ, will prioritize 2 key sectors, banking and financial services, alongside logistics services, global service centers and transfer services. Dato' On Hafiz stated that services for the first sector will be provided in Pulau Satu Forest City, while the second sector will be developed in the mainland area of Forest City. The Investment, Trade and Industry Ministry MITI is collaborating with the Selangor and Johor state governments to ensure that every district has at least one direct current fast charger for electric vehicle use. This initiative is part of the government's measures to achieve the 10,000 EV charging stations targeted by 2025.
Kami harap selepas pilot dengan Selangor dan Johor, kita boleh meluaskan kepada semua negeri supaya memastikan semua daerah ada charging point.
He noted that there are currently 500 direct current chargers across the country, and MITI has raised its target from 1,000 to 1,500 units by 2025, recognizing the critical role of direct current chargers in expediting EV charging. Liu also highlighted various initiatives to strengthen the EV ecosystem and domestic industry. The Malaysian Institute of Economic Research, MIER, has indicated that the business outlook for the fourth quarter of 2024 remained positive, with business confidence index reaching nearly 105 points. And it said key drivers include stable production and sales, improved employment levels, increased wage costs, rising investments, and enhanced efficiency in capacity utilization. The Business Confidence Index highlighted positive trends in employment and sales, signaling resilience and strong recovery potential. In the report, MIER said the overall sales performance in the third quarter 2024 was positive. On a year-on-year basis, it showed the index rose by 8.9 points to 52.8 versus 43.9 points in the third quarter 2023. MIER said the employment index showed a positive trend, rising yearly by 14.3 points to 56.5 compared to 42.2 in the previous corresponding quarter. Overall investment also experienced an increasing trend, with a year-on-year gain of 18 points to 68.0 points. More than 70% of firms operating in both domestic and export markets reported stable investment levels for their companies. Thailand's Ministry of Commerce held a meeting with over 50 representatives from the U.S. ASEAN Business Council, or USABC, to explore ways to strengthen trade relations and attract investments to the kingdom. Thai Commerce Minister Pichai Nariptapan said the meeting focused on resolving trade barriers, expanding market access, and positioning Thailand as a strategic hub for United States investors. Pichai emphasized that Thailand's proactive efforts to address investor concerns, foster global partnerships, and diversify its economy are expected to drive sustainable growth and enhance the country's economic resilience in the months ahead. The Commerce Ministry also highlighted progress on key free trade agreements, including those in the European Free Trade Association, the European Union, and ASEAN-Canada, which are expected to boost trade efficiency and open up opportunities in new markets. The U.S. remains one of Thailand's key trading partners, with bilateral trade reaching $55.68 billion from January to September 2024, marking a 9.84% increase compared to the same period last year. Thailand's main exports to the U.S. include computers, electronic circuits, and rubber products, while key imports consist of machinery, crude oil, and aircraft. Mexican business owners warned on Tuesday that United States President-elect Donald Trump's messages on the border have already affected its competitiveness and could harm future investments. Now, Trump, who takes office on 20th January, earlier said he would impose a 25% tariff on imports from Canada and Mexico until they clamp down on drugs, particularly fentanyl, and immigrants crossing the border. Jesus Manuel Salyandia, the coordinator of Mexico's border business blog, said the tariffs go against existing free trade agreements, but urged for patience until Trump's inauguration to see how the situation unfolds.
Eso nos preocupa mucho porque las ciudades fronterizas han estado perdiendo mucha competitividad. Y el discurso que ha estado hablando el presidente electo Donald Trump ha sido muy satanizador para la frontera. Nosotros somos de la idea de que debe haber un trabajo en conjunto, de que debe haber más trabajo entre ambos gobiernos, Estados Unidos, México.
In response to Trump's plans, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum on Tuesday hinted at potential retaliatory measures, asserting that Trump's tariffs would inevitably lead to counter-tariffs. Mexico is the United States' top trade partner as of September, representing 15.8% of total trade, followed by Canada at 13.9%. Mutually, the U.S. is also Mexico's top trade partner. Bolivia's government and Chinese consortium CBC, which includes battery manufacturer CATL, have signed an agreement for CBC to build 2 direct lithium extraction plants for at least $1 billion on Tuesday. Now, the government will take a 51% stake in the project to be located in the Uyuni Salt Flat in southwest Bolivia within the so-called lithium triangle shared with Chile and Argentina. Despite holding the world's largest resources of lithium, which is used to make electric vehicle batteries, Bolivia has not managed any significant production, and many investors are wary of its volatile political climate. Arce said the government is scouting out more companies to invest in lithium and has received interest from various countries.
No solamente son las empresas rusas y las empresas chinas las que están interesadas en invertir en Bolivia. Tenemos una segunda ronda, la segunda convocatoria que hemos lanzado ya desde el año pasado para que se pueda presentar más empresas de todo el planeta interesadas en trabajar en Bolivia.
In our foreign front, ICC prosecutor seeks Myanmar junta leader over alleged Rohingya prosecution. The prosecutor of the International Criminal Court ICC said on Wednesday he would seek an arrest warrant for Myanmar's military leader Min Aung Hlaing for crimes against humanity over the alleged persecution of the Rohingya. A panel of 3 judges will now decide if they agree there are reasonable grounds to believe General Min Aung Hlaing bears criminal responsibility for the deportation and persecution of Rohingya in Myanmar and Bangladesh. There is no set time frame for their decision, but it generally takes around 3 months to rule on issuing an arrest warrant. The prosecutor's office said in a statement that it was seeking the warrant after extensive, independent and impartial investigations. More applications for arrest warrants will follow. More than 730,000 Rohingya Muslims have fled to Bangladesh during the campaign, which UN investigators said was carried out with genocidal intent. Myanmar is not a member of the treaty-based ICC, but in 2018 and 2019 rulings, judges said the court had the jurisdiction over alleged cross-border crimes that partially took place in neighboring ICC member Bangladesh, and said prosecutors could open a formal investigation. Washington's decision to give anti-personnel mines to Ukraine in the biggest blow yet to a landmark anti-mine treaty. The Anti-Personnel Mine Ban Convention prohibits the use, stockpile, production and transfer of landmines. The United States, which has not signed up to the treaty, said last week it would transfer landmines to Ukraine to aid its efforts fighting Russia's invasion. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky has called the mines very important to halting Russian attacks. The Convention of the Anti-Personnel Mine Ban Convention signatories said in a statement, Ukraine receiving U.S. mine shipments would be in direct violation of the treaty. Moscow and Kyiv have been ratcheting up their drone and missile attacks, with Ukraine recently firing U.S. long-range missiles at Russia and the Kremlin retaliating with an experimental hypersonic missile. The Siem Reap Conference is a 5-yearly meeting held by signatories to the Anti-Landmine Treaty to assess progress in its objective towards a world without anti-personnel mines. On Tuesday, landmine victims from across the world gathered at the meeting to protest Washington's decision. More than 100 demonstrators lined the walkway taken by delegates to the conference venue in Cambodia's Siem Reap. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez on Wednesday announced 2.3 billion euros in additional aid to reconstruct areas of the Valencia region hit by the deadliest flash floods in Spain's modern history. Now, the government has so far pledged a total of 16.6 billion euros in aid, and Sanchez told Parliament it will keep helping as long as needed. Sanchez defended the way his government handled the extreme weather event, which is said was caused by climate change. The central government has also blamed the regional administration, led by Carlos Mazon of the main opposition People's Party, for a tardy response in alerting citizens and telling them to stay at home after warnings issued by the State Weather Service and hydrography experts. Regions are in charge of disaster management in Spain, but the chain of events have given rise to a blame game between the minority leftist government and the conservative opposition. Scientists say extreme weather events are becoming more frequent due to climate change. Meteorologists believe the warming of the Mediterranean, which increases water evaporation, plays a key role in making torrential rains more severe. More than 16 centimeters of snow blanketed South Korea's capital city on Wednesday, marking the biggest snowfall in November since modern weather observations began in 1907. Now, the new record coincided with the first snow of the season in Seoul. According to the Korea Meteorological Administration, KMA, and Seoul Metropolitan Government, a heavy snow warning was issued in the northeastern districts of Seoul, including Nowon, Seongbok, and Dobong. Snow and rain are forecast nationwide until Thursday morning, though the precipitation will continue into the afternoon in parts of Gangwon Province and North Gyeongsang Province, and until late Friday night in the Cheongcheong and Jeolla Province and on Jeju Island. The Interior Ministry activated Level 1 operations of the Central Disaster and Safety Countermeasures Headquarters and raised the heavy snow warning to caution. The Disaster Control Tower warned of traffic congestion during the morning and evening rush hours, pile-up accidents on icy roads, and safety issues for pedestrians due to the heavy snow. Interior Minister Lee Sang-min instructed officials to thoroughly conduct snow removal operations. Still to come in sports, Arsenal claims biggest away Champions League win in 21 years. Bukayo Saka scored 1 goal and set up another as Arsenal thrashed Portuguese side Sporting 5-1 in their Champions League clash at the Estadio José Alvalade on Tuesday, their biggest away win in the competition in 21 years. Gabriel Martinelli put Arsenal ahead early on before Kai Havertz and Brazilian defender Gabriel added 2 more goals before halftime as Arsenal overwhelmed their hosts. Goncalo Inacio pulled a goal back for Sporting early in the second period, but Saka restored Arsenal's 3-goal advantage with a penalty. Leandro Trossard later got a 5th for their biggest away win in the Champions League since victory by the same scoreline at Inter Milan in 2003. Arsenal moved above Sporting to 7th place in the 36-team table with 10 points from their 5 games. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta commended his players for their courage and efficiency, saying their best is required to beat Sporting that were in top form.
Against the opponent that we played in their home, I don't think I lost a game in 18 months. They've been in top form. They've been better than anybody they'll play here. So to play to the level with the determination, the purpose, the fluidity that we've done today, very pleased.
Over in Spain, Barcelona's Robert Lewandowski scored twice as the hosts cruised to a 3-0 win over French side Brest on Tuesday, with the Polish striker joining Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi as the only players to pass the 100 goals mark in the competition. Lewandowski put Barca ahead after being fouled by goalkeeper Marco Bizot and converting from the spot in the 10th minute. The home side squandered several chances to extend their lead and were almost caught out by a couple of counter-attacks before Dani Olmo got their second after dribbling past 2 defenders, with Lewandowski wrapping up the win in added time. The victory lifted Barca to second in the 36-team table on 12 points from 5 games. They are 1 point behind Inter Milan and level with third-placed Liverpool, who host Real Madrid on Wednesday. Brest, on the other hand, dropped to 9th spot with 10 points. Barcelona next faces Dortmund, which coach Hansi Flick says will be tough, but believes the team is ready to take on the challenge.
We have to play against Dortmund the next match. It will be tough in Dortmund. They're at home. They're really, really good, playing very successful. But I think we are ready for that, and we know what to do, and hopefully that we also can show it in Dortmund.
Well, that concludes this edition of Malaysia Tonight. In our top story, Prime Minister to unveil affordable housing project next month. Till then, I'm Otto Othman from the river to the sea. The sun will be free. Thanks for watching.